What's up, everybody? It's Make It Make Sense. We're here for another video. Guys, I'm as shocked as y'all are. Erika Jayne actually won a lawsuit. I'm absolutely shocked. So I had to bring this story to you guys. I chose the page 6 version, so let's get into it. And then I'll give you my commentary on how I feel about this and what I feel. I don't like Erika. Let me not even sugarcoat it. I don't like Erika, but on this channel, fair is fair, and I report the facts, so that's what we're gonna do. It says according to page 6, Erika Jayne scores win in $5 million fraud lawsuit. Court findings show no evidence of wrongdoing. Erika Jayne scored a major win in court this week in the $5 million fraud lawsuit. Two of her estranged husband, Tom Girardi's former colleagues, attorney Philip R. Sheldon and Robert P. Finn, filed in late 2020. You guys remember everybody was filing against her husband, against her, because they knew that the money was not infinite and there were so many debtors. So as soon as the crash victims came forward, there was a flood of lawsuits. Los Angeles Judge Richard Froon found no evidence that the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star 51 participated in any wrongdoing. Jayne's attorney, Evan C. Borges, exclusively confirmed to page 6 on Tuesday. Sheldon and Finn had sued Jayne for aiding and abetting Girardi, 81, in his alleged crime. They claimed the reality star knew her estranged husband had been using their cut of the settlement money to fund her lavish lifestyle, which I believe, but the issue is the burden of proof. I totally believe Erika knew, but if you can't prove it, then in a court of law, you can't technically sue her. I would have thought lawyers would have known that if the evidence that they provided was shaky. However, according to court documents exclusively obtained by page 6, the judge ruled Monday that the plaintiffs failed to prove that the RHOBH star had any actual knowledge of Girardi's alleged crimes. The judge cited Jayne's deposition, in which she told the court, listen, they did all the books at Girardi and Keese. They were in charge of all the ledgers. I didn't do the invoices. Now, Erika did tell us during the seasons that she worked there, but now all of a sudden her hands are clean. We don't know what she did there. The housewife added, I just thought it would all be taken care of. I didn't really ask. Like, it's not like I was raking in millions of bucks. I didn't know what they were doing down there. But people have said they lived unlike any other attorney, any other prominent wealthy attorney. These people lived at a different level. For her to never ask any questions, to me, that just sounds ignorant. The judge then cited a declaration from the plaintiffs themselves in which they admitted that Jayne never actually participated in agreements between Girardi and his colleagues. Judge Froon also said that the plaintiffs' attempts to prove Jayne had actual knowledge that funds were misappropriated to EJ Global LLC were not based on any direct evidence, but rather inferences about circumstantial evidence, such as her income and expense schedule. The evidence is irrelevant, the judge ruled, per the documents, which also state that Jayne's lavish and extravagant hobby funded by the spouse's community property is not evidence of the actual knowledge, any breach of fiduciary duty between Girardi and the plaintiffs. So basically, the judge is reading her. The judge is saying that her whole music career was just a hobby. I guess if you don't produce any money and you spent 20 million on it, that's a hobby, an expensive hobby. I like this picture. Him giving her some money. The judge said he also made his decision on the grounds that Sheldon and Finn did not prove that Jayne owed them any fiduciary duty, which is the obligation a party has to act in another party's best interest. He also pointed out that Girardi was also not at fault for this, as attorneys do not owe fiduciary duties to their co-counsel. The plaintiff's attorney, Ronald Richards, exclusively tells page 6 on Wednesday's response that there is a discrepancy in the judge's ruling because he wrongly focused on a duty they were not arguing was violated. The civil which basically just means they are going to go back to court for this. Maybe not with this judge, but they will appeal. The civil litigation attorney says that the plan to show in their appeal that Girardi had a fiduciary duty to third parties who were expecting money from a trust account. However, Judge Froon concluded in his ruling, the court finds that there is no triable issue of material fact as to Mr. Girardi having actual knowledge of plaintiffs' claims of the existence of a fiduciary duty between plaintiffs and Girardi and Keese. Basically, you're not getting any money, period. The court therefore grants summary judgment in favor of defendant Erika Jayne. Borges told Page Six the judge issued a tentative ruling last Friday, but it was made final on Monday. Borges also pointed out that the ruling is critical because it is the first time that a court of law has looked at all the supposed evidence against Erika and the court found in Erika's favor. Now, that is true. This will probably set a precedent because if two prominent attorneys sued you and lost, and the evidence they provided was not strong, then this even might be a signal to other people suing her that their lawsuits aren't as airtight as they thought, which really sucks because I really do want all of the victims to get something back. Just because Erika was ignorant of it doesn't mean that she didn't spend their money. Because it is the truth, the court concluded that there is no evidence of any knowledge on Erika's part of any wrongdoing by Tom Girardi or Girardi Keys, and no evidence of Erika's participation in any wrongdoing besides spending the money. Borges said he and his client are gratified that based on a review of actual evidence by a court of law, Erika has been exonerated. The trial attorney said he expects the other aiding and abetting lawsuits against Jayne will fail for the same reason, as they are contrary to the truth and based on no real evidence. Just what I just said. This is going to set a precedent for the other lawsuits and the other people suing her. Richards argues in a statement to Page Six Wednesday that none of the other lawsuits against her are limited to a single count of aiding and abetting, a breach of fiduciary duty, but include a much larger scope of causes of action. He also reaffirms his plans to appeal the decision. However, it became a moot point because EJ Global is still named as a defendant, although Jayne has been dismissed. The bankruptcy trustee still has the more important and easier to prove claims. Both EJ's company and David Lira will be defendants at the trial, and Erika Jayne has been ordered to appear personally for trial via a subpoena. Richard says this is a dispute over what constitutes actual knowledge. Just what, like I just said. What did she actually know, people? That's the question. And what actually are the grounds for this lawsuit is what constitutes actual knowledge. Does it even matter if she actually knew but spent the money? Does ignorance constitute actual knowledge? There's so many questions. We contend it could be proven by willful blindness, and actual knowledge can be inferred, he insists, adding that the only way to meet the judge's standards is by Jayne's own admission. Richards concludes, no one is ever going to win every motion on every count, but that doesn't mean you don't take discovery or try to prove them, and there's nothing wrong with the difference of legal opinion between the litigant and the court. Following publication of Page Six exclusive report on the judge's ruling Wednesday, Jayne posted a screenshot of the article on Instagram and captioned it, "Thank you to my friends that have stood beside me. All I asked for was time and understanding." The Bravo celebrity has maintained her innocence both on and off the reality show for months. In May, Jayne accused Richards and his clients of trying to extort her with the lawsuit. Borges previously told us at the time the Sheldon plaintiffs and their Twitter attorneys have no case. So you guys know, Ronald Richards and Erika Jayne, they have a whole Twitter, Instagram beef. At the end of this, I'm not as concerned about two attorneys that sued her as I am about the clients getting everything that they want. Even, let's just play devil's advocate for a moment. Even if Erika did not know, the fact that she wasn't willing to give up those $1 million earrings to try to make the burn victims whole as much as she could since she spent the money tells me everything that I need to know about this woman. As always, I'm going to keep you guys updated, but it's not looking great for the rest of the cases against her. With her husband being in a home and having dementia and her saying she's innocent, where is the people's money? Where are the victims' money? That's what I think is getting lost in all this craziness. And with Beverly Hills, I need to see somebody giving these people their money back. And if $20 million was spent on Erika's career that never happened, that is absolutely horrible and a crime in itself. I'm going to keep you guys posted. Make sure to like this video and subscribe. I'm giving you guys content. And I will see you all for the next one.